Tales from the Trading
Desk. But we're going to continue down the path of long-term capital, aren't we?
Right. So I'm going to read something from When Genius Failed because it's one of my favorite stories of all time. And it's going to be from this book from what's the author's Lowenstein, I believe, is the fellow's name. But anyways, let me just go. It's going to be just a couple paragraphs. Bear with me. So he says, badly in need of a lift, Meriwether called an old friend, Vinnie Matone, who had been the fund's first contact at Bear Stearns. Matone, who had retired, was everything that J.M.'s, and that's John Meriwether's, elegant professors were not. He wore a gold chain and a pinky ring. And he showed up at long term in an all-black silk shirt opened at the chest. He looked as if he weighed 300 pounds. It's much like Patrick's look. Unlike JM's strangely wooden partners, Matone saw the markets as exquisitely human institutions, inherently volatile, ever fallible. Where are you? Matone asked bluntly. We're down by half, Meriwether said. You're finished, Matone replied, as if this conclusion needed no explanation. For the first time, Meriwether sounded worried. What are you talking about? We still have $2 billion. We have half. We have Soros. Matone smiled sadly. When you're down by half, people figure you can go all the way. They're going to push the market against you. They're not going to rule, which means refinance your trades. You're finished. And I just love that story, Patrick. I think it's so true because at that point, it no longer meant anything about the theoretical value of these contracts or anything else. It was purely gamesmanship of, sharks in the water smelling blood, and they were going to circle it and finish those guys off.
Like those people that are short bonds today, right?
Yeah.
Why don't you give optionsellers.com a quick call and ask them how that worked out with some nat gas contracts. Dude, you know what? It's amazing how the market does that, but people just have to remember that that you can go with the theoretical and fundamental values of things all you want, but ultimately the markets are a behavioral exercise of traders trading against other traders, investors against other investors, and it's how you're positioned and who's got the upper hand, right?
Especially in the short run. Especially in the short run, or short to medium.
Sure. Well, no, over the long term, fundamentals matter, but you have to have the staying power. You have to. You can't get shaken from your position. And this is exactly what your story's about. Is that once he said you've been halved, he said you're done. Right. Like you need to have positioned yourself in a way that you couldn't get halved.
Exactly. You're absolutely right.
Right.
Anyways, that's it. Good Tales from the Trading Desk. We're going to Lowenstein. That one's from him, and I love it. It's one of my favorite stories of all time.
And listen, for all of our millennial listeners that did not yet get around to picking up that book, it's a little older, but man, is it a good one.
It is a good one.
Definitely do that.